Welcome back to another episode of This Day in Sports History with your host, Nick R.O.Y. Now this is the second video of the day I put out. The first video will be linked down in the description, and it's about the new proposed rule in the NFL for incentivizing minority hires. There's a lot to get into on that, but that's in that video. If you want to watch that video, that will be linked down in the description. But this is another episode of the series This Day in Sports History. Now, there's not really a lot to say today because, looking things up, not really that much happened. So, I'm just going to go with what I researched. If you all enjoy this video, leave a like on it for me, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on this video. Comment anything interesting or something that I just didn't say because I just didn't see it or I'm stupid. I don't know. Let's get into this day in sports history. In 1869, the Cincinnati Reds played their first Major League Baseball game. The Cincinnati Reds, known as the Cincinnati Red Stockings back then, are the first professional baseball franchise. And they played their first game today on 1869. And they just absolutely destroyed the opposing team, winning 41-7. Obviously, the game was different back then, but 41-7, that's a big win no matter what. Reds start off their franchise on a strong note. Moving to 1927, you have the Murderers Row Yankees. Those Yankees had one of the best four-person lineups of all time, obviously highlighted by Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. But Bob Musial is the guy we'll be talking about in this video. Musial stole second, stole third, and stole home. Not the easiest thing to do. We know, I said Pete Rose a couple days ago on this day in history was able to do it in one inning. Very impressive. But Bob Musial in 1927 did the same thing on the Murderers Row Yankees. Moving to 1930, we have the 6th Walker Cup, which is an international golf tournament. And this was the 6th Walker Cup, with 1922, 1923, 1924 being the first three. Then every other cup would be played biannually. So 1930, the 6th cup, and the U.S. wins it 10-2. Then in 1938, a name we brought up yesterday, Bradman Cricket scores 278 runs versus MCC. Yesterday, he scored over the century mark. This time, he scored over the 2-century mark. In 1948, another name that's not new to the channel, Mikhail Botvinnik wins the first chess world championship since World War II ended. Again, 1948. World War II ended in 1945. So 3 years after, Botvinnik wins the first chess championship en route to his 20-year stretch of just dominance over Russian chess especially, but chess throughout the world. Then in 1955, another name not new to the channel, Rocky Marciano beats Don Tocco in the 9th round on a technical knockout to retain his heavyweight championship. Moving up to 1973, AC Milan of Italy wins the 13th European Cup Winners' Cup against Leeds of England, 1-0. In 1975, the greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali, TKOs Ron Lyle in 11 rounds to retain the World Heavyweight Championship of Boxing. Now, Muhammad Ali wasn't the same fighter he once was. He was older. He wasn't able to do everything he once was able to do. But he went back to that old saying, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. He was able to get the technical knockout and retain the championship belt. Shortly after, he did retire, but he came back. And he makes another appearance on this list. But before that, we have the 1976 Stanley Cup Final between the Montreal Canadiens and the Philadelphia Flyers. But this really wasn't much of a series. The Montreal Canadiens were able to get the 4-game sweep on the Flyers with a 5-3 victory in Game 4. Moving right back to Muhammad Ali, in 1977, Ali comes out of retirement, beats Alfredo Evangelos in 15 rounds on a straight decision. Everyone had Ali, but when Ali won the match and was going out the arena, oddly enough, they started booing him. Which, I don't know if that was necessarily more about him or just more respect they had for Evangelos. Either way, Muhammad Ali came out of retirement, easily won the matchup in 15 rounds. Then in 1979, we have the 19th European Cup Winners' Cup, and FC Barcelona of Spain ends up beating Fortuna Dusseldorf of West Germany 4-3 to capture the European Cup Winners' Cup Championship. In 1980, you had the last game of the NBA Championship with the Los Angeles Lakers versus the Philadelphia Sixers. Now the Lakers, they had young Magic Johnson, they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, they had Michael Cooper, Norm Nixon, going against the 76ers of Julius Erving, Darryl Dawkins, and Maurice Cheeks. In the end, though, the Lakers combo of Magic and Kareem just proved to be too much for the 76ers to handle. The Lakers won the series 4-2. Moving up to 1984, we had the 24th European Cup Winners' Cup, and Juventus of Italy ends up beating Porto of Portugal 2-1 to get their championship. Then in 1985, this is what the article is written about today. I'll link to that below in the comments. But Michael Jordan was named the NBA Rookie of the Year. And I'm pretty sure you know the name Michael Jordan. He made a bit of an impact on the league. Michael Jordan would go on to win numerous awards, and it all started with the Rookie of the Year he won in the 1984-85 season. Moving all the way up to 2014, PSG, FC, and Manchester City are each fined 60 million euros for breaching fair play regulations. And then finally, in 2019, Brooks Koepka equals the tournament record and course record of a 63 7-under to lead the PGA Championship by 1 stroke after the first round. So there you have it. Again, not really much that went on today, but if I forgot something, let me know down in the comment section. For Nick Wire and the 10th inning, see ya.